Before fame, before mansions, before freedom, there is a silent pattern that almost no one notices. People who became very rich started by buying things that seemed simple, but that generated money every month. It wasn't luck, it was strategy. And the most curious thing, most of them avoid talking about it in public. It's not a conspiracy, it's protecting an advantage. Today, the curtain falls. In this video, we'll reveal the 9 assets that the rich buy even when no one is looking. It's this behind-the-scenes game that separates those who fight for money from those who make money work for them. So, if the idea of building real freedom makes sense to you, like it, subscribe to the Shrewd Mindset channel and activate the bell, because this type of content never reaches the feeds of those who only live on autopilot. Forget winning the lottery. Forget the hero narrative of working non-stop, sleeping 4 hours a night, and living exhausted. That's a romanticization of scarcity, not a wealth strategy. True financial freedom doesn't come with a higher salary. It starts quietly, when money no longer depends on your presence. It's when you can turn off your cell phone, travel for weeks, or simply spend an entire day without producing anything and still have the money coming in. This is the game that almost no one teaches. While most people are chasing promotions, annual bonuses and pay raises, those who are really playing at the top level are asking another question. What can I buy today that will keep paying me for the rest of my life? And that's where the secret lies. Because it's not about earning more, it's about building a structure where money works for you, not the other way around. And that only happens when you understand the right time to acquire the right asset. It's not magic. It's financial architecture. The rich who got there before you didn't have any special powers. They just started trading hours for assets earlier. While the world was running around looking for the next job, they were quietly building self-operating income streams. And that's what changes the game. When you have assets that keep generating money even on your bad days, even when the world stops, you've won. But for that to happen, you have to start thinking like an architect of your freedom, not an employee of your time. That's the tipping point. And most people don't realize it until it's too late. The first asset that many people underestimate, but that the rich tend to seek out right at the beginning of their journey, are dividend-paying stocks. Yes, stocks, but not just any stocks, and not with a casino mentality. They are not trying to double their money overnight. They are looking for consistency, predictability, and cash flow. They analyze solid companies that have been in the market for decades, that have real profits, and that distribute part of those profits to shareholders, month after month or quarter after quarter. It is as if you bought a small part of the company and started receiving a slice of the profits just for being a partner. You don't need to sell anything. You don't need to work there. You just need to be positioned. With $5,000 invested in the right way, you can already generate between $200 and $300 per year. Doesn't seem like a lot? Now imagine that being reinvested, with regular contributions and growing over time. With $50,000, we are already talking about $2,000 to $3,000 per year. With $100,000, you can earn up to $7,000 a year in dividends alone, and that's without touching the principal. The asset is still there, and the payments keep coming. That's why many rich people don't even need to sell stocks to live. They live solely off the dividends. What's more, they use this income to buy more assets, which speeds up the cycle. It's like putting wheels on money. It starts to move on its own. But there's an important detail. Rich people don't choose these stocks just by looking at how much they pay. They look at the distribution history, the financial health of the company, the sector in which it operates, the predictability of profits. It's a long-term mentality. They'd rather receive $200 guaranteed per year than risk losing $5,000 trying to make the next big bet. And while the world runs after fads, these people keep going, planting small income machines that work silently. It's not about getting rich tomorrow. It's about building something that grows over time and that one day can completely replace your need to work for money. Dividend stocks don't scream, they don't shine, they don't get attention on Instagram. But those who understand the game make a living from them. Have you ever stopped to think why this type of information almost never comes up in conversation circles? It's not because people don't know, it's because those who know don't talk. There is a silent pattern among those who build real wealth. They share less than they know, especially when they are still accumulating. And this is not evil. It is strategy. The more people discover a good asset, the more expensive it becomes. The more people seek the same stocks, the harder it is to buy them at a fair price. So, those who really understand the game prefer silence to noise. They act before the headlines arrive. They enter discreetly, with focus, without fanfare, and leave the scene when the majority starts to arrive. Take, for example, those who bought shares of Coca-Cola, McDonald's, or Johnson & Johnson back in the day. At the time, no one thought it was sexy. It didn't attract attention. But while others ignored it, these people were quietly building a structure that today funds their lives. Years later, these stocks have appreciated absurdly. And even better, they have never stopped paying dividends. These are the same assets that support comfortable retirements, free lifestyles, and bills that pay themselves. But these stories are rarely told on social media, because silent wealth doesn't get clicks. It is created behind the scenes, without fanfare, without urgency. That's why, when you sit down at a barbecue or in a casual conversation, the subject usually revolves around promotions, debts, installments, new cars, but almost never about assets that generate automatic money. Because those who really know this have already understood that the less you say, the more you build. True financial knowledge rarely comes out loud. It comes in the form of attitude, and those who observe learn. The second asset that the rich love but rarely talk about are real estate investment trusts known as REITs. The acronym stands for Real Estate Investment Trusts, and they are, in practice, the simplest and most efficient way to invest in real estate, without having to buy an entire property. Instead of spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on a property with less than 1,000, you can buy shares in a fund that owns shopping malls, logistics warehouses, commercial buildings, hospitals, hotels, or even data centers. In other words, you become a partner in large properties that you would probably never be able to own on your own. And the most interesting thing, these funds distribute a good part of the profits to the shareholders. It's as if the rent from these properties comes to you automatically, effortlessly. No need to deal with tenants, leaks, painting, renovations, or worry about property taxes. You receive the part that belongs to you every month. It's that simple. While many still think that you need to buy an apartment and rent it out, the rich prefer to have a stake in 20, 50, or 100 properties, all in a fractional, liquid, scalable way. They know that it's not worth tying up capital in a single physical property and being at the mercy of a single tenant. With REITs, income is diversified, risk is diluted, and bureaucracy almost zero. And here's a curiosity that few realize. Many of these funds own properties that you visit on a daily basis. The mall where you buy clothes, the hospital where someone in your family has been treated, the office building of a large company. You can own all of this, and you don't even have to leave your house to get started. That's the beauty of smart assets. They work behind the scenes. While you live your life, the rent is being paid, the profit is being distributed, and your wealth is growing. Month after month, year after year, those who understand this early on can build a passive income that increases over time and protects against inflation. Because, contrary to what many people think, REITs can also increase in value, both in terms of shares and income. And this transforms something simple into something powerful. It is the type of asset that requires vision, and those who have this vision rarely turn back. The third asset is one of the most underestimated by those who are still stuck in the traditional money-making model. We are talking about automated digital businesses. Yes, real businesses, but they work even when the owner is not around. Those who understood this before the craze created niche websites, automated YouTube channels, profiles that generate revenue with affiliate marketing, or e-commerces with dropshipping, where the seller himself never touches the product. In the beginning, yes, it is hard work. You need to understand the game, set everything up, create content, test strategies, but once the system is running, something magical happens. The business continues to operate, with or without you. There are people today earning $500 a month with a digital store that they no longer remember exists. A store that sells a single product in a single country, but that continues to receive visits and close orders every day. And that is the power of digital scalability. Once something works, you don't need to work harder to earn more. You just need to replicate, automate, or reinvest. YouTube channels with evergreen videos, for example, those that continue to be watched even years later, generate income from ads every month without having to post anything new. Websites with articles that rank well on Google continue to receive visits and sell products or services for years. And all this without paying rent, without inventory, without the need for a physical team. Of course, it's not easy money, but it's smart money. You plant once and you harvest for a long time. That's exactly why so many silently wealthy people invest in digital businesses. They're not trying to go viral. They're building invisible assets that work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, even when they're sleeping or traveling the world. Automated digital businesses are the modern version of passive income. They don't have to be huge or famous. They just have to work. And when you have 2, 3, 5 of these little systems running at the same time, suddenly your money starts working harder than you, and that changes everything. Let me tell you a real story that few people know about, but which perfectly illustrates the power of digital assets. A regular guy, passionate about fishing, decided to create a simple blog about the subject. In the beginning, the earnings were almost symbolic. Just a few cents appeared here and there, the result of ads and affiliate links. Not enough to pay the bills, much less attract attention. But he didn't give up. He continued producing content with passion and consistency, without rushing and without expecting to get rich quick. Over time, that blog began to gain authority on Google. More people started visiting it, the ads started to earn more, and the sales of affiliate products increased. The income, which at first was almost zero, slowly grew. Today, years later, that same blog earns a comfortable monthly amount, enough money for him to live off that income alone without needing a traditional job. And the most curious thing, he practically doesn't post anything new anymore. The digital asset he created continues to work on its own without needing constant maintenance. This guy didn't buy a stock or a property. He bought something much more valuable, a system that generates money while he does whatever he wants. He became rich quietly, without fanfare, without having to show anything to anyone. And that's the magic of digital assets. They may seem small and insignificant at first, but with patience and strategy, they can become stable sources of passive income. These are assets that exist on the internet, accessible to anyone, but that few really take advantage of. This story is living proof that sometimes it's not about what you have, but about what you create and let work for you. It's the kind of wealth that doesn't appear on social media, but that truly transforms lives. Active Room. When we talk about rental properties, many people think of buying their dream home or that apartment that seems perfect to live in. But the rich see things very differently. They don't buy properties motivated by emotions or status. They buy based on a single indicator, cash flow. Imagine a property that costs $200,000, but that, if well managed, can generate $2,000 per month in rent, especially if used on platforms like Airbnb. That means an annual income of $24,000, not counting the property's appreciation over the years. But here's the secret. It's not enough to just buy any property. The difference lies in negotiating low interest rates for financing, choosing the right location, one that attracts good tenants or tourists, and making precise calculations to ensure that the financial return exceeds the fixed and variable costs. They know that every dollar invested needs to work to generate more money. This requires research, patience, and understanding real estate market trends. What's more, the wealthy generally prefer properties that can be managed professionally, avoiding the headaches of problematic tenants or constant maintenance. That's why they invest in areas with high demand, solid infrastructure, and growth potential. It's this strategic approach that turns properties into true assets. Properties that pay the bills, that increase your wealth, and that can still be sold for a much higher value in the future. But if you think this is something you see on Instagram or social media, you're wrong. Very few share these details, because those who truly know the value of this prefer to focus on quietly building wealth. Investing in rental properties with this mindset isn't about having a beautiful home. It's about creating a cash flow machine that works for you, month after month, year after year. And this is how many wealthy people ensure financial stability and true freedom. Fifth asset. Not all wealth is on the stock market or in large corporations. Many experienced investors know that a significant portion of the best opportunities are in small local businesses. Those charming neighborhood coffee shops, art studios, innovative startups, or family businesses with growth potential. But here's the thing. They don't join to work or manage. They join as silent partners, providing capital but leaving the operations to those who understand the day-to-day running of the business. With an investment of $10,000 in a well-chosen venture, it is possible to start receiving monthly profits that can reach $500, and that without having to get your hands dirty. These returns appear as a kind of invisible salary that goes into your account month after month. The big difference lies in the careful selection of these companies. Not just any business generates consistent returns. You need to analyze the history, the team, the market demand, and above all, the potential for sustainable growth. Over time, by diversifying investments in different businesses, this passive income multiplies, becoming a stable source that complements or even replaces a traditional salary. And the best part? With diluted risk, because it does not depend on a single source. This type of investment is little known, because most people are stuck with traditional ideas of money and employment. But those who understand this strategy know that being a silent partner in several small businesses is one of the most real and accessible ways to build wealth. More than that, it is a way to participate in the growth of the local economy, support entrepreneurs, and still reap the financial rewards of all this, without having to quit your job or routine. Investing in small businesses is entering a different game, a game where money works for you and not the other way around. It is transforming capital into real, tangible opportunities that can change your financial future forever. While many people are stuck in traffic, rushing from one place to another, fighting against the clock, there is a group that lives in a completely different way. They receive royalties, dividends, rents, and profits that automatically go into their account, even while they are traveling, sleeping, or simply enjoying life. They don't usually share all their secrets, nor do they make a big deal about it on social media. But there is a clear pattern that separates those who work for money from those who make money work for them. And this pattern is what we are going to reveal next. Do you want to find out how these people manage to escape the never-ending race? Stay with me, because the next asset will change your view on money and freedom forever. Sixth asset, intellectual property. Intellectual property is one of the most powerful and underexplored assets, precisely because it is not something you see on the street or that everyone understands well. We are talking about creations that, once created, can continue to generate money for years, even decades, without the need for constant work. This includes music, books, online courses, software, patents, and even trademarks. Imagine the power of launching an e-book, a course or a song that years later continues to sell and bring money to your pocket, even if you are no longer involved in the process. There are people earning more than $2,000 a month with an ebook published back in 2017, or with a song that went viral years ago but still generates royalties every time it is played on the radio, streamed, or used in commercials. The secret is to create something that has timeless value, that meets a constant need, or invest in buying copyrights of works that have already proven their value in the market. Unlike a traditional job, where you sell your time and effort every day, intellectual property is an asset that turns your creativity or initial investment into an automatic income machine. Those who master this concept can live comfortably, while their digital products or intellectual creations work for them in the background. In addition, these assets can be sold, licensed, or transferred, generating even more opportunities for profit without you having to wear yourself out or be physically present. Another important point: intellectual property is global. A song released in New York can generate royalty income in Tokyo, London, or São Paulo without you having to move an inch. This creates a scale and reach that few traditional investments offer. And here's an important insight. The value of these assets tends to grow over time, especially if you take care of the reputation and promotion of the work. That's why many wealthy investors buy copyrights or invest heavily in digital content creation. It's a way to build a passive income that spans generations. This type of asset may seem invisible to most people because it is not something that is shown off at parties or on social media, but the reality is that it sustains many lives in a discreet and powerful way. Investing in intellectual property is entering a long-term game, where patience and strategy create a flow of money that can cover bills, finance travel, and even open doors to other opportunities. Ultimately, it is a way to guarantee real financial freedom, making your money work for you through the power of creativity and accumulated knowledge. Those who understand this have an advantage that goes far beyond simple investment. They have a true financial legacy in their hands. When it comes to cryptocurrencies, most people think of risky moves, viral memes, and bets that can either multiply your money or make it all disappear overnight. But the most experienced and wealthy investors know that this is not the path to building real, sustainable wealth. They understand that winning this game requires strategy, patience, and looking beyond the hype. Instead of chasing the next Dogecoin or following passing fads, they focus on infrastructure cryptocurrencies, the ones that are the foundation, the technological foundation that is transforming the entire digital economy. We're talking about projects like Ethereum, which enables the creation of smart contracts that automate agreements without intermediaries, Solana, which brings speed and scalability to decentralized applications, and Chainlink, which connects real-world data to the blockchain, opening doors to innovations that go far beyond money. These assets are not just digital currencies. They are platforms that support a multitude of services that will revolutionize finance, logistics, governance, and even the way we exchange information. And the most interesting thing, many of these projects offer a form of passive income called staking. Staking basically means blocking your coins in the network to help ensure the security and functioning of the system. In exchange, you receive constant rewards, which can be a source of monthly or annual cash flow, something similar to earning interest, but with the extra potential for appreciation of the asset itself. For this reason, these investors do not just speculate, they participate in the growth of technology, becoming part of the ecosystem and being rewarded for it. In addition, investing in infrastructure cryptocurrencies is a bet on the future, on the digital transformation that is changing how money is created, stored, and moved around the planet. Unlike traditional money, this new model is decentralized, transparent, and accessible to anyone, anywhere, creating a new financial standard where control is no longer in the hands of a few, but rather in the hands of the community. This explains why those who make the right bets on digital infrastructure are not looking for quick and volatile gains, but rather to build a solid foundation for long-term financial freedom. The vision of these investors is that of someone who knows that they are facing a revolution that can change everything: the financial system, the global economy, and the opportunities to make money. They are prepared to surf this wave with knowledge, strategy, and discipline, not with impulses or luck. And this is the difference between those who waste time on fleeting speculations and those who truly build wealth for the coming decades. If you want to understand how to get into this game, you need to put aside the noise of fads and focus on projects with strong fundamentals, reliable teams, and a clear vision of the future. This way, your investment stops being a gamble and becomes a participation in a movement that is here to stay and to generate real, consistent, and growing income. Investing in infrastructure cryptocurrencies is, in essence, choosing to be at the forefront of global financial evolution, with the chance to achieve freedom, passive income, and security that few traditional assets can offer. And ultimately, it is this mentality that separates ordinary investors from the truly wealthy. Penultimate assets: smart franchises. Smart franchises are one of those assets that are rarely talked about, but that have enormous potential for those who want passive income without the complexity of managing a traditional business. Here, the magic happens because you don't need to be present all the time, nor get involved in the daily details that usually consume entrepreneurs. Think of automated laundries, modern machines that work with little or no human assistance, accept digital payments, release washed and dried clothes to customers, while you just monitor the results from afar. Or imagine a network of vending machines strategically positioned in commercial buildings, schools, or gyms, selling snacks, drinks, or essential products 24 hours a day, every day of the year, without any employees. There are also residential or commercial cleaning micro-franchises that hire outsourced teams, take care of the operational part, and leave you only to receive the profit. What makes these models so attractive is the combination of automation, outsourcing, and scale, all designed so that the business owner has to do as little active work as possible. The initial investment, usually between $20,000 and $40,000, covers the purchase of the franchise, equipment, initial inventory, and training. After that, the money starts working for you, with a monthly return of $1,000 to $1,500, depending on the model and location. More than just an extra income, this flow is a true silent machine that can grow over time, as you can replicate the model and open several units, increasing revenue without proportionally increasing the effort. Another important advantage is the predictability of the business. Because these are already tested franchises, with support from the franchisor in marketing, operations, and management, the risk is much lower than starting a business from scratch. This helps protect your investment and brings more peace of mind to the entrepreneur who seeks financial freedom with security. Furthermore, these businesses are usually resilient to crises because they offer essential services with constant demand. And guess what? Some smart investors can even buy several of these micro-franchises and delegate management to specialized third parties, transforming themselves into true entrepreneurs who do not need to be tied to an office or exhausting routine. That is why smart franchises are the silent secret of many people who have already achieved financial freedom without having to own a large company or work endless hours. This type of asset is perfect for those who want to build wealth in a practical, scalable way and with controlled risk. While many are trapped by the myth that to get rich you need to work harder and harder, those who invest in automated franchises know that the right way is to make money work for you. in an intelligent, constant, and predictable way. It is precisely this mentality that separates ordinary investors from those who achieve true financial independence, living life on their own terms. If financial freedom is the destination, smart franchises are the vehicle that few people talk about, but that is available to those who want to get into the right game and win without getting worn out in the process. Last asset: monetizable knowledge. Monetizable knowledge is an invisible asset that few recognize as the true engine behind lasting wealth. Unlike tangible goods, it does not wear out, does not require maintenance, and its value only increases over time, as long as it is applied in the right way. Imagine learning a skill that allows you to create multiple sources of income, which do not depend on you being present all the time, and which can be transformed into digital products, consultancies, or even strategic partnerships that pay dividends. The rich understand that investing in knowledge is, in fact, investing in themselves, an asset that no one can confiscate, that does not suffer from crises, and that opens doors to opportunities that money alone cannot buy. Often, those with this mentality start small. They buy a sales course, online advertising training, or learn basic programming. But with discipline and application, this knowledge becomes a catalyst for creating businesses that operate 24 hours a day, automatically and scalably. The real power lies in transforming this knowledge into assets that generate passive income. For example, by learning how to create an online course, you can sell it once to hundreds or thousands of people and continue to earn money for years without having to work harder. And it doesn't stop there. Monetizable knowledge also allows you to negotiate better salaries, understand investments, develop innovative products, and even help other people solve problems, all of which translates into money entering your cash flow. While most people try to accumulate things, cars, properties, material goods, that can lose value, knowledge is an asset that adapts and increases in value over time, especially in an increasingly digital and connected world. The key is knowing how to apply this knowledge. It's not enough to just consume information. The truly rich transform learning into concrete action, building a portfolio of assets that work for them, even when they're not working. And do you know what's most interesting? This type of investment in yourself doesn't require millions to get started. It can involve a monthly subscription to courses, participation in mentoring sessions, constant reading, and daily practice. With a little, you can build a lot. Therefore, monetizable knowledge is the asset that serves as the solid foundation for all others. Without it, stocks, real estate, and businesses can be risky. With it, the chances of success and growth are exponential. Those who really want to change their lives understand that the greatest asset is what is inside their heads. Financial freedom begins when knowledge is applied to create value, not only for you, but for an entire market that is waiting for solutions. This is the secret that the rich buy before they get rich. They invest in their own intellectual and practical growth, and with that they build a financial legacy that lasts generations. Mastering this asset can be the turning point between the routine of working for others and the independence of creating your own journey to success. The truth is that monetizable knowledge is the fuel for real transformation. It opens doors, breaks down barriers, and when used well, makes any financial goal possible. If your dream is to never depend on a job again, build consistent passive income, and live life on your terms, the first step is to invest in what no one can take away: your knowledge, your skills, and your ability to create value. It is the most valuable asset there is, and the key to finally achieving true financial freedom. It may seem that this world of assets, passive income, and financial freedom is something reserved for only a select few, for those who are already at the top. But the truth is exactly the opposite. All of these assets were within reach long before these people became rich. There is no magic or luck. There is choice, strategy, and action at the right time. Those who decided to invest their time and money intelligently, even without large resources, built over time an income machine that today is not used to pay bills, but to guarantee real freedom. Freedom of time, choices, and life. So here's the question. Given so many options, which of these assets will be the first to make your list? Which one will you choose to start building your own path to financial independence? The answer to this question can change everything. If all of this has already made your mind expand, imagine what lies ahead here on the Shrewd Mindset channel. Here, the conversation is not about magic formulas, but about the real steps that ordinary people took to achieve true wealth. So leave a like now so you don't miss any content, subscribe to the channel, activate the bell to receive all the news firsthand, and share this video with those who need to get out of the rat race and take the first step towards financial freedom. See you in the next video, where we will continue to reveal these secrets that most people will never tell you, but that can truly transform your life.